Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Not too
Babbling to
much.
myself, but nothing screwed up switching from live scene back over to the cameras and all that.
Yeah, I need some transition stuff, but yeah, in the future. In the future. Um,
Yeah, you missed your chance to get it at discount.
it's gonna happen again at Black Friday. Let's be real.
Yeah. Anyways, back to
Yeah,
wrestling.
yeah, nice. So once again, we don't have a title for this, so this is yet to be named wrestling podcast, mostly about WWE. I am Matt. That's also Matt. You can find him at Forsaken. You can find me at Matt_Zimmer. That might change, but not yet. So we'll go from there. Nevertheless, I just threw up Wrestle Babble because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna babble about all things, probably WWE for the most part. And but if you're interested in talking AEW, I'm up to date on that too. And that pretty much sums it up. So Matt, you kind of like to take the lead on this kind of stuff. You like to like focus on like covering everything, whereas I tend to like to get hyper focused on like one or two things per show. So I'm gonna let you take it away with the question that still isn't copyrighted yet that I know of. So what do you want to talk about?
Well,
until
uh,
I find
what?
out there's a trademark on that or something.
Well, what logic would dictate since the last time we talked was last Raw, you go into NXT. However, I have a little bit of a statement about SmackDown and what I've been doing, and I've been failing myself, and if not this podcast that's trying to get off the ground here, and that's
I
I'm
like
watching
ground.
SmackDown after like one of the PLEs on the weekend. The
So
pay
you're
per
doing them in
views.
reverse
So
order, yeah.
yeah, so then I'm going back and watching SmackDown because I'm being too lazy to watch it on like Friday night.
It's
or
hard. It's okay.
something.
It's hard. I just finished watching NXT a few minutes ago while watching Raw at the same time, while watching the Bucks play. So like, there's a lot going on. It's a lot of wrestling, man. It's okay.
Fair. However, I end up not being as invested in SmackDown because it's kind of those ones right before. I'm going to keep saying pay per view because that's what I'm
That's
used
fine.
to. But right before getting into that, I'm really kind of just not too invested in it because I kind of know what they're leading up to. I'm taking myself out of it, which is a disservice to myself and just being able to talk about the show in general. Because I'm kind of noticing where it's like, okay, the pay per views will get very kind of spot heavy because that's what they do. They entertain. But you'll notice on like a SmackDown, or at least I'm noticing, they don't do as many. They do kind of similar matches to what you're going to see on the card for the pay per view and whatnot, and it's just I don't know. I think in a way I'm ruining my experience of SmackDown. And instead of like enjoying the show, I'm turning it into homework and just like I kind of zoned out of this one a couple times, and it's no fault of anyone on the card. It was just simply me just going like I know how Crown Jewel went, so I think I need to fix that for myself. I think I need to start actually
I get
trying to
that.
watch that like
I get
when
that.
it's happening.
I mean, again, it's just so much wrestling, man. It's really hard. I get it. And like,
It is.
if I go to a show on a Friday night, one of our two local places runs on a Friday night. I'm gonna miss SmackDown. I'm gonna have to figure out a different time to watch it, And if I
Yeah.
go to the other one, it could be on a Saturday. We could have gone to an indie show, pretty much we would have missed half of Crown Jewel because we went to an indie show. If that was the case,
Yeah,
because that start time was
we would have had to use later in the evening or the next day, Sunday, to
right
watch
to
it.
watch it exactly. So like, that's there's just so much with 2 hours on Tuesday, Wednesday this week. 2 hours on Monday, 2 hours on Friday, a massively long pay per view. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's hard it's hard to see all of it. And then, I went to a show on last Wednesday.
Oh yeah, I saw some
The
of those pictures.
AEW show that was in
Yeah.
Cleveland. they're pretty reasonable price for some really reasonably awesome tickets, honestly. So
Yeah, it's pretty good side uh, seats for like the entry ramp.
yeah,
Not
like
bad. A
truthfully,
little
we
bit
were
elevated.
midway. We were like slightly midway on the ramp, but the ramp was short. The ramp
Yeah.
was real short at that place. So to give you an idea, it felt like the Halloween Havoc scene from N64 games. Like that's how short the ramp was. Like it was
Oh
like
wow.
a if you had some big steps, you could probably get to the ring from the entrance ramp in like I don't know 8 steps if you were taking some really large strides.
Wow.
So, but it was good. It was good. But that's a different brand we don't talk about very much. So we'll move on from that. But that's what I mean. But if you go do something like that and then you lose even more time in your week, and it's just tough. There's so much wrestling.
Yeah. And then you have to juggle family. I have to juggle a life. That's just like why do that stuff? Like I like it.
Yeah,
What do you want from me?
yeah. You know,
Um,
a lot of people read books in their spare time, and I have a friend or an ex at one point that would do a lot of reading, and your wife likes to read. It's kind of like the same idea, but just in a moving picture format. We'll call it.
like yeah, likes to read, likes to write them too. So
Yeah, it's true.
I should maybe tell her like this is like me writing them, sitting down here to
I think the
talk
WWE.
about it.
Somebody was looking. I think it might have been WWE was looking for writers.
Huh.
So
Well, I don't think I don't fit the build on that. Unless I like use my wife and be like, write this down.
yeah, it's a co-op thing. It's like you're the knowledge of wrestling and she's the writer, which makes sense. You could do that.
Yeah, it could work, but which one of us is getting paid for it? I don't know.
Probably the wife. That's usually how that goes.
Yeah, I kind of imagine. Yeah, I don't know.
The wife
It'd be
gets paid for
weird.
it.
That'd almost be like WWE would have to like if they'd pick us up would have to be like, okay, we will pay you to half price of our normal writers to make it make sense. So you're both pulling in
It's a
money.
collab deal. You guys would have you'd have a
Yeah,
joint. It'd be like because it's contract work to be like a outside like you guys are your own company type
I'd have
writing.
to. I'd have to put in the contract that it's just like, okay, well, you hire and fire us together. Then don't just boot
That's a
me out the
bold
door, and
move. Oh,
then my
I
wife
thought you
has.
meant the other way around.
Oh yeah, well that way my wife doesn't have like my dream job. I'm over here like,
I thought
no.
you were worried that you're like, I don't want her to be mad when she gets booted. But no, you're like, no, 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 no.
Then she's the one doing all the work. She's just using my brain, and then eventually she, watches enough of the product, and she's like, "Oh, I get how this works. I don't need you."
I mean, that's true. That could happen. But you got the history behind it. You got the
I
history
mean,
behind it.
she figures out just like how to pull at people's heartstrings. She's just like, "Oh, I got this.
Oh boy.
Write my own stuff." Like, oh, no, it was me too.
Well, we should probably move forward into this because I mean, last week we went a little while. We went almost an hour and a half, over an hour and a half. But we can start with the history of fact because the factor of history, whatever you want to call it. Because I guess we should start with Tuesday night's NXT, which was a giant promo for this Wednesday night's NXT,
Yeah, it
where they're
really
at the
was.
ECW arena. So
So how about the first match? How'd you like that one?
now that's my
We
match.
got the
We
we
know,
got the
you
we
know,
got the payoff right away.
right. We did the main event, opening match like they do sometimes. Still don't get that.
Yeah, that was kind of amazing. It's just like, yeah, we're starting off with the casket match, what everyone wanted to see. Like, wow, I'm glad I tuned in right away.
Well, you had two major matches on the card essentially that people wanted to see: the tag match because they're the tag team champions, and you had the casket match. They decided to open with the casket match. You want to open and close with really good matches, in the middle hopefully is decent, but you want to draw people in immediately,
Well,
and get them seated. You want the energy level this happens a lot in indie wrestling too. So you get a lot of like opening match scrambles. in indie
Yeah.
wrestling to get the fans hyped immediately. And then you have the main event, which hopefully will do it. In the middle, you hope that you've carried enough energy from the first match into the mid-card matches, and it keeps it at least a fervor of some sort going into the main event when people can pop off again, essentially. So it makes a lot of sense, and it was a great match.
Yeah, that one was really good. Because the next thing that followed after it was that Heritage Cup Championship match, and I was a little lost on that one, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. That's not
Yeah.
focused too much on that one. That's just more. That's just the Heritage Cup has been a thing they're doing there. It's just a different type of thing, like match wise, to get people in a different mindset than traditional matches. But it's, that match was more about character development for Brian Pillman. For Lexus King, Brian Pillman's son. Where that's the whole angle is he's not his dad. And that to me, that was more of a character defining match than it was about the Heritage Cup itself. But
basically like an Iron Man match, sort of.
Kind of, but with rounds.
Yeah, it was similar.
But let's hop back though. Okay, we're skipping over
Okay.
Alice. Okay, I love Alice. Okay, we gotta go back to Alice.
Okay, well, you made a point, and I went like, "Hey, there's an example this week of your point."
Right.
Okay, so back to Tatum and Alice.
No, Tatum was dressed as Alice from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, Gothi Alex.
Yep.
Alice in Wonderland. I actually wrote that down. So yeah,
fantastic. And then of course, I mean, Wendy going with Sally's also classic. Both had great costumes. Thought it was fantastic that Wendy came out with a bed. She didn't want to be one up, so she had to do her own thing. And since her gimmick, like I always said, was like sleepy Wendy at the time, now she's like Nightmare version. She still brought the bed out anyways, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially was a table, but it was perfect.
That pillow was so versatile in that match.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just the gimmick of like, oh, you're gonna hit her with a pillow, so like a pillow fight in the beginning. Like, okay, well, not what I would have done, but all right, you could throw her off maybe. Ducks that, and just gets kicked to the side by the ref. And the whole time I'm thinking like, why didn't that get kicked out of the ring?
Oh, I knew there was stuff
match
in it.
And go like,
yeah.
Oh, so it's the spot to stop the casket from fully shutting because pillow got in the way.
Yep.
Even though the ring apron stopped the casket from shutting once they finished the match, but we won't. Talk about that.
The apron's really thin. It's okay. That was a Lego-filled pillow.
The apron doesn't count.
No, apron doesn't.
No one saw that, even though the camera was right on it. Oops. The casket got jostled. Because they did so many, like, not only spots, but, like, attempted maneuvering on top of the casket and all that, because, well, it's all about getting your opponent in the casket. So,
right.
This shit happens.
Yep.
But I did not expect Legos to be in there.
Legos hurt so bad.
Yeah, freaking ow.
Legos hurt so bad.
Like they hit each other with the Legos. Even just doing the spot on the Legos. Tatum
took a brutal... I mean, she... From butt to neck were just Legos the entire... so bad. Just so bad.
Yeah, Wendy did not get out scot-free.
No, she clipped some Legos. Everyone take... When you do a tack spot, a Lego spot...
everyone gets some.
There's I think she's Stardom and indie scene person that was at GCW's collective this year during Mania weekend. I don't remember the Japanese term for like a monster. It's like gaijin or something like that.
Oh, kaiju?
Kaiju. Yeah.
That's what
I think she's called Big Kaiju or something like that. I mean, she's a tiny, tiny girl. And she's got like fur mittens on with like claws and has like a fur like Ewok thing because she's a kaiju. Is that the name?
Yeah, kaiju.
Yeah. So since she is that, she's got these pieces, but then she dumps out a bag of monsters, some stuff, some like vinyl, like Godzillas and stuff. And then
I was about to say, are there Godzillas with all the spinities on the back?
Yes, and there's
freaking
body slams
man.
on it. Yes. So yeah,
ow.
But anytime you have a spot like that, whether it's toys, Legos, tacks, 99% of the times both people take the brunt of it, and It just is what it is. Like you know that, and you know the person getting slammed on it is going to get the reaction, but it's everybody. They both hurt. There's the ref hurts trying to count on Legos or tacks. Okay, no one feels good.
You know the rake to the back move that usually the heels always use.
Mm-hmm.
Take a Godzilla and do that to someone.
That would be brutal. That would be brutal. It's one step away from a cheese grater at that point. Ugh.
You can't kind of make it look bad but not have it be bad. It's just bad.
It's just bad. Yeah.
just ow.
Tatum's somersault plancha out of the casket was really good too.
Oh yeah.
She went for broke. She went for broke. That's another reason why I love her. She's crazy, and which is always bonus points for me. But she went for broke. The cross body block in the corner into the garbage can that was set up there, like she went full bore into that too. They set the trash can up like it's a chair in between the ropes.
Yeah.
She just went full board into that too. I'm like, oh. So
yeah, and I like 20 plus years they've gotten away from when they were doing some of those hardcore matches around the year 2000. They were using those like very aluminum trash cans.
Those were thicker than you think. They're just
really?
Big men. Yes,
it's just big men. It
just crushing them. I had one.
Okay.
Sean did ring crew down at the time, the queue or whatever it's called, and he brought me one back afterwards, one already pre-crushed from a SmackDown.
Oh God!
And I'm like, I just was like, oh man, this is not as tinny as I thought it was gonna be. These are just big men crushing these things. So
because that was always my complaint, because it was.
Oh, you're right. They looked so tinny, 100%.
Yeah. And they were so shiny that, like, I thought they were just wrestling with tinfoil, basically, and I was really kind of getting bothered by it. But I'm kind of glad to know that it's just like, no, it's just a 300-pound man. Just
was 100% with you until he brought me one, and I was just like, oh my God, that's one of those things that just got thrown out because my dad wanted me to throw it out as a kid. I'm like, I don't wanna. This is merch. This
really.
Man, 10 years from now, this kind of stuff gets sold for like $400 on the auction site.
Especially if you get signed by the person that flattened into a pancake.
Right, exactly.
This is your trash can. You smashed it.
Right.
You signed my trash can?
Yeah, you signed my trash can. This is your body print. Your body did this.
My trash can is now a shiny stop sign.
Yeah. So, but yeah, those things, I agree with you. They looked real flimsy, but they were not, believe it or not. They were a lot less flimsy than they appeared. And
well, they look a lot better now that they're not like insanely shiny like tinfoil.
Yes, but let's keep an eye on who's hitting them as well.
Well, yeah, with the girls hitting them, they're not gonna dent them as much. True,
right.
But I also like the look that like they sort of dirtied them up a bit, where they don't look like we just bought this from the hardware store.
Yeah, that's a good point. They have done that. I don't know if they started doing that because of what they do with the ladders, where they paint every ladder. But yeah. But yeah, that match was great. I don't know if it really concluded anything. I don't think that feud is over in any way, shape, or form. But it was a fun match, and it was like I said, it was a good way to really kick off the show and get the energy up high. Because the next match, the Heritage Cup is just never going to be a high octane type of match style. It just isn't.
Yeah. Well, that can be somewhat good to kind of have some of the matches that slow it down, but still have a lot of those things that keep you watching.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to it at least, because you're fighting for the Heritage Cup.
Yeah. The Heritage Cup thing, that just kind of that was probably the only one in NXT that kind of made me kind of zone out a little bit, because it was just like with round 2, no one like won round 2.
Nope.
Like it got to points where I'm just like, I don't really understand the rules, so I'm having a hard time connecting with this match. And then round 3, I have nothing written down for round 3 because I don't remember if it was just no one won again, because they declared Charlie Dempsey the winner at the end of it. I'm like, okay.
He got the German in at the last second, and I believe he got the 3 count. I think it was 2-0 at the end.
Oh, okay.
But the whole point there was William Regal tried to pass Lexus King the brass knucks at the end of that. I think there was even another spot too where he tried to get him to help get a win essentially, and King refused it twice, saying no, I'm not my dad. I'm going to do it my way, and keep up this good guy mentality, good guy act, and that was like I said, that's why it was more of a character driven match than it was a match, so to speak.
Yeah. That'd be interesting to see where that goes, because does he just keep this up indefinitely, or does he eventually like snap? Where he's
this
like,
could be
hell with it. I'm gonna be dirty about everything.
it could be a year-long scenario even. Like we could if they do it right, they'll wait for us to finally believe he's on the straight and narrow and then swerve us. It's just, is the storytelling going to be long enough for it to get there? That's all.
Yeah, maybe.
What was the third match?
That was Zara versus Brinley Reese, who I don't think I know.
No, she was there to lose.
Yeah. So apparently Zara's finisher is an F5 where she rotates the opposite way of Brock Lesnar. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's cool to see a woman starting to do that move.
Yep.
So,
just make her look strong. That's about it.
Yeah, just kind of doing a squash match, just showing what she can do,
and to set up the 5 and the 10 woman match after that. But yeah. Well, they're really trying to stack this card for Wednesday because it's on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because they're going straight up head to head with AEW that week. So.
Oh, yeah. So they kind of have to really build that up if they're going straight against them.
Yep. So that's kind of the thought with this.
I'm forgetting what is AEW's actual days. Is it Wednesday, Friday?
Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
They do a Saturday show too. Jeez,
Collision. Really, Jeez. Wednesday and Saturday are the big shows. Rampage is the Friday show, and truthfully, Rampage doesn't get a lot of hype. Also, the same place that you're going to find that you see more of your friends that you might have in the indie scene. Like,
Friday.
Yeah, Zoe Sky wrestled on Rampage, for example. Not a friend by any means, but an acquaintance I've met several times in the indie scene.
Yeah.
Super cool. She went by Zoe Lynn. She was to make Johnny Mundo's girl. I can't say her name apparently. Valkyrie looked good, and absolutely demolished Zoe in no time.
Oh shit.
So, but yeah, that's why they're stacking this card. That's why they're bringing back this ECW Originals lineup, so to speak, with Bubba teaming with Trick, and RVD's doing something.
Yeah, I didn't get that with RVD. He just shows up in the middle of that backstage fight. And it's like, you guys just gave me a good idea. I know what I'm going to do now. Okay, bye.
Well, he's like, at the time they were trying to play the long game with Bubba not doing anything for it. And he's like, who wants to? And he had to have his point to do his arm thing, of course, for Rob Van Dam. But then he actually goes, I would love to do something. And then the commish is like, you know what? Leave it to me. I got this covered. And that's where we walk. He just walks away. So, okay. So Van Dam's doing something against someone, which is fine. He goes harder than a lot of people do, to be honest with you, still. At his age. Yeah. He could probably tone down some of the athleticism stuff that he can't do super great. He still tries to do the straight jump from the ring to the top rope. Doesn't always accomplish that. like to get up on the top
like,
rope.
yeah, to get like up on the turnbuckle.
Yeah,
Where he kind of like jumps up and just spins around basically on his boots and.
yeah. Well, first off, he'd always look surprised to find a turnbuckle. He'd always like whenever he got to, be like, "There's one right here, fantastic!" And then he would jump up on it and spin while on the top, and it's a little rough at his age, but I mean, still super athletic, man. If I could do half the stuff he does at his age, fantastic.
I mean, to my knowledge, doing that move the way he did, he was the only one at the time doing it that way.
Yeah, he was super.
I don't think
he was super athletic that no one else was doing half the stuff he was doing.
Yeah, it was like no one else trying to mimic that.
No, and I've thought about going to wrestling school for two reasons, and one of them is because there's a Van Damme move that everyone does everywhere, but they do the lame Shane O'Mac version and not his.
Oh, the coast to coast?
Yes. I would be the only one out there just trying to throw Van Terminators whenever I can.
Oh.
Because
where he does the spin in the midair and that kick.
No, that's the Van Daminator with the chair.
Oh, no. I was thinking from jumping from coast to coast, but you mean jumping from coast to coast?
He springboards.
With the... Oh, he springboards?
Yes, he doesn't climb the top rope and hangs out there, gets his balance, and then jumps across the ring.
Oh, yeah.
He was from the apron, springboarded into it every time. But no one does that.
Is there sometimes he like does the springboard with the chair in his hand and goes flying across?
He would do his chair? He would do his jump karate sidekick with the chair in his hand sometimes. So sometimes he would jump up off the top rope and then kick the chair into someone's face. That became challenging. So a lot of times what would happen is Fonzie would hold the chair in front of the guy's face, essentially, whether they be on the rope or something like that, or just there, and then hit him with it. Or he would have Fonzie toss the guy the chair and hit the springboard karate kick off the top rope too. Just different versions of the Van Daminator, essentially.
Yeah.
But the Van Terminator, he was the first one to throw it, and it was a springboard, coast to coast, with Fonzie holding the chair in front of the guy's face. And no one else has a springboard. Even on the indie scene, no one else has a springboard. And like, it's even a shorter ring. It's a 16 by 16 ring typically. You could do this. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first person I knew to be mimicking it at all was Shane O'Mac.
Yes, he did the coast to coast.
Like anyone else.
And to be fair to Shane, they used a bigger ring. I think theirs is like 20 by 20 or 18 by 18, so it's at least 2 to 4 foot longer. And that's why I think he did the coast to coast where he stood up at the top rope instead of springboarding. Although I think Van Damme in his prime could springboard the distance of the coast to coast and then in the large ring too. But now I'll take the. I will say this.
I think he has.
I don't think he's ever done a springboard.
No, not when he went over to WWE. You don't think he ever did it in their rings? I think he might have done it for at least a pay-per-views.
I'm trying to think of when he would have done it, and it would have been early, and so I don't recall him doing that to Jeff in the Invasion scene. Because I think the Invasion one had Jeff versus RVD in it. And I remember the Van Terminator off the stage. I mean, the Van Daminator off the stage. I don't remember a Van Terminator. He probably did at some point. I just don't remember it. He probably did it at least once on the big ring. It sounds like something he would at least try to do, just to do it. Unless somebody in the back was like, hey, around here, that's Shane's move.
Yeah, I'd be like, the hell would you? He stole it from me. I'd do it to Shane.
Right.
This is how you really do it, kid.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look it over again. I might be wrong, but I don't remember him doing it in WWE. But
I swore he did, but I mean that would be a lot of footage we'd have to go back through to be like. See?
I would look for the main pay-per-view ones to try it. Like I'd be looking through the Invasion pay-per-view and things like that. Looking for it because that's when he would have thrown it. But that's what he's going to be there. Also, side note, those chairs weren't rigged according to Jerry Lynn. So those chairs, that was a thing. I had a conversation with Jerry Lynn, fantastic guy. Those chairs, even Balls Mahoney's chair that always bent, not fake.
big dude slamming into the head of another big dude. Yeah, no.
I mean, they bent quicker than most, so I was like, please tell me they were gimmicked a little bit at least. He's like, no. No, they were not. I'm like, oh, man. Because I knew he was starting to bring his own chairs because he'd always have them painted up for the pay-per-view.
Spray paint the heck out of them and
So,
whatnot.
yeah. But, so next week is going to be insane for that reason. So you had the 10-woman match. RVD's doing something. They eventually got Bubba and Trick to tag up for that match. Probably going to be the main event next week.
Yeah.
And that, I guess, for NXT, just leaves the last match, which was the tag match for the titles.
Oh, yeah. Axiom.
I just lost him. Hold on here. Let's see if we can get Matt back here. Wonder if he lost me on his end too, or if what we had happened there. Let's see if I can't resend him a link to hop back in. Where's my phone? Actually, let's do this.
Huh. Hey, you there? Yeah, I didn't stop going live yet. Okay. Why don't I try joining you again? That'll work. I see you. Do you see me? All right. I wonder if we got audio in here. We got the actual audio. Oh. I don't know. I don't think I can. I don't seem to be able to. Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
You're good.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no. I muted my mic in here once I went to go into Discord to go find you again.
Okay.
So one of those hiccups that just happened.
Well, at least that was kind of an easy fix, so we'll know to do that next time.
Yeah, just the call gets mixed. Like we're both still online, just on your side I'm gone, on my side you're gone.
Yeah. I guess the only predictor I could have had is every once in a while for me your cam would freeze up on my end.
Vice versa too. Mega got real blurry one time. He took a sip.
Oh, okay.
Mega got real blurry and just kind of froze there for a second.
It was our connection to one another just struggling a bit. Got it. Okay, so we were trying to get into the last match of NXT there. Axiom, Nathan Frazier versus Cedric Alexander and Javon Evans.
Bouncy, yeah.
Holy fuck, is Javon Evans a big bastard. That is a tall man.
Yeah, but he's not real heavy by any means.
No, he's not. But that I only noticed that match was insane.
Yeah.
Just so much.
Yep. I mean, it's gonna be a fun feud though once Evans and Wesley go at it. But it was a bad scenario for poor Cedric Alexander
though. Why do you say that?
Because the bouncy one to go left to go deal with Wesley.
Oh, yeah.
Wesley, we came out with the chair, and Evans did the dive to the outside to go take him out, and they wrestled off into the back, and then
Cedric, you're talking about the end.
Yeah, Cedric was all by himself.
Yeah, well, yeah, that happens.
It shouldn't happen.
Yeah, no, he shouldn't abandon
your teammate.
Yeah.
Bad things happen. It becomes 2-1. That's a horrible set of odds. Unless your teammate's like Brock Lesnar, stay with your teammate. Like if I'm Evans and I'm
Yeah.
teaming with Brock Lesnar and I dive out of the ring, I'm like, you know what? You got this. I'm gonna go fight him. You got this. Win us some titles. I'm gonna go punch this guy in the back. But when it's not Brock Lesnar or like Kane, probably should stay with your teammate.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, that match was insane. All 4 of those competitors are insane.
Yeah.
The only question is when they're going to break up the current tag champs because they've been hinting at it for a long time.
Yeah. They almost seem to be like hinting at it now where was it Axiom's telling Nathan it's just like,
Too
hey,
bright.
you got a little bit of a hothead.
Yeah, that's becoming
Oh.
the running theme for every promo they do.
Yeah. So it looks like they got something there to possibly gonna like whether it's split them up or have them drop titles. But
Yeah, we just don't know when.
one
Probably.
thing we kind of glazed over, or didn't really glaze over at all, Rhea getting taken out.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That was a bloody scene.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know the reason for that being?
No, not the reason. Does she actually need some time off?
Busted orbital bone, for what I understand.
Really?
The word on social media is that she on the spot. There was 2 different spots that have been stated that could have caused it. Which one did it? I don't know. I have no idea of knowing. It seems the one that's the consensus currently is during like a wasn't during a match. It was like during an altercation scenario between Rhea and Liv on an earlier episode of Raw. I think it was. There was either headbutt scene that caused it, but that doesn't seem to be as likely as the code breaker. Some point, Liv throws a code breaker, and Rhea gets caught with it, and you can actually see Rhea grab her face like this, and then continues going on because she's a trooper and she's insane.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, that's the spot where they
Oh.
think she busted her orbital bone. So this was a way to write her off for a little bit and let her get healed up.
Yeah, I remember that because I remember going like, that's kind of the time when you're checking your face or a limb or something, going
Yeah.
like, wait, did I actually do damage there? I was supposed to not actually hurt from that. I hurt now.
Yep.
Am I okay?
Yep. One of those moments.
Oh.
A little bit of check, make sure bones are where they're supposed to be and there's no blood. But yeah, that's why they did that. That's why she was there. And
that kind of throws a little bit of wrench in what they were doing, unless she can get healed up by the time of WrestleMania.
I mean, she should be okay by WrestleMania, but I mean, I don't know about. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Orbital bone, I would imagine at least 6 to 8 weeks. So what does that put you at? That's 2 months. You're in November.
I mean, unless she wants to get a Phantom of the Opera mask made.
Well, we'll get there on Raw, but you see what happens when you break a nose. You get the basketball player mask, but I think that timeline puts her in line for the Rumble.
Oh, okay.
Because the Rumble's at the end of January this year. I think maybe even like February 1st, something like that. So like, she could be an entrance that comes back, come back in the Rumble, and then immediately puts her right back in line for the title shot at WrestleMania again.
That reminded me. We got February 3rd here for Raw.
Yeah,
so that might be the Raw after the Rumble then.
It could be. That makes the Rumble February 2nd. Let me double check. Oh, wow, that was bright.
Well, in a way that sort of doesn't make sense because those major, I'm saying pay-per-view again, they tend to do the Raw right where they just had, like how they just had Crown Jewel here in Saudi Arabia. They use the same arena for Raw.
Well,
tonight.
That's a real one like that because they got
Yeah, I know. It's
a little bit more of a,
yeah.
The commute's a little rough on that one.
Okay, bad example. Shouldn't have used that as an example, but
Sorry, I'm dumb and I put 2024, not 2025.
Oops.
When is that falling on? February 1st. So yeah, it is the Raw after that.
Does it say where the Rumble's at?
Yeah, it's Indianapolis.
Oh, that's not ad. That's
No.
state over. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
I
yeah.
knew where it was. I just wanted to make sure I was right on the date. But yeah, it's Indianapolis. So
Gotcha.
because they signed a deal, they're getting all of them at some point. They're getting the Rumble, they're getting a Mania, and they're getting a SummerSlam.
Hey, I've never been to a major show like that.
So if we go, I should let you know.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Because the closest thing I've been to for them is that NXT we did out by Youngstown.
Oh, in the bomb shelter, in the fallout shelter.
Yeah, that place. Yeah,
Man,
the place we might need in like the next year as World War III.
Yeah,
ratchets it.
Well, we know where to go.
Ratchets up.
We have an idea of where to go.
That's a long drive.
For a fallout shelter, if necessary, is fine. I'll take that drive.
It's 16 minutes for one of those things to leave a sub and hit us here.
Well, yeah.
We ain't gonna make it.
Well, you know what? We just gotta drive faster.
Yeah, no,
I got a 10-second car in the garage. We'll get there.
Learn teleportation is what we need.
10-second car in the garage. We'll get right in there. We're good.
Right.
We'll get there.
Sure. I ain't got a 10-second car to get to your car, so I'm doomed. Oh wait, no, you'd be coming my way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No.
I'll work on it. We're not great at turns. Turns are rough, but that's okay.
Straight lines. Outside with a go bag.
Yep. Just jump in.
I'm gonna ditch the wife.
You thought wrestling was stupid. Well, we're going to an arena. We happen to find because of wrestling.
Who's stupid now?
Yep. We're just gonna sit there going, I wonder how the world's doing out there because there's no reception inside a fallout shelter, as we've learned. None.
Trying to hold my phone up to the ceiling. Yeah. What's it look like outside, wife? Are you dead?
Do not share your location. She's gonna be pissed. But no. Yeah, I'll let you know what we're doing. There's some early talks of going as a group as it is right now. Because it's one of the group members' day after their birthday. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll let
Please.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me know.
I mean, the live shows are fun, but I think you had a better experience by going to an NXT show, in my opinion. I'll go to a Raw if it's in the area. My friends like going to Raws no matter where they're at.
Yeah.
But
that's why I'm kind of picking one in our area where it's like, okay.
But you lose the commentary. Baggage. You lose
sure.
Like you lose a lot of the elements that are nice about going and about watching the show, and then I don't know. I'm not a big fan of going to Raws and SmackDowns live. Manias and pay-per-views, sure. I mean, you got a cool atmosphere every time, especially when they're in the stadiums. Excuse me. Whether it's a SummerSlam or it's a WrestleMania or a Rumble, the atmosphere in the area is just awesome. But live shows, I just feel like you lose too much. I'd rather watch it at home. But if it's in my backyard, I'll go. Sure, why not? So
yeah, I mean, if it's the one after also
Rumble
in our backyard and one right after a Rumble might be kind of good.
That could be good. You're not wrong, because usually you're gonna get a debut from there too. Someone's getting called up from NXT typically from after the day after the Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, I missed so many of the good ones in the Attitude Era when we should have been going. But
I only went to like 3 or 4 in the Attitude Era too.
Yeah.
I didn't go to a single ECW show, and I should have done that.
Yeah, well, you had someone to take care of, so it
was tough.
Makes sense.
It was tough to find ways to get places and have to be home and stuff like that. It was annoying, but it is what it is. But I would have loved to have gone to at least 1 or 2 of them. I think there was one at Roller World at one time. Believe it or not.
What?
Yeah. There was something at Roller World that I missed, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, like a mini ECW house show at Roller World?
That would
have been great.
There was something at Roller World that I missed, and I don't know for sure if it was ECW or not. I know ECW did the Masonic Temple, the ballroom there one time. And I think they did. I want to say something did Roller World, and I didn't find out until well after the fact, and I was like, son of a. But
Wow.
so that's that. We should move on. We're 45 minutes in, and we haven't left NXT yet.
Okay. Really quickly, the only other match on NXT was Nikita Lyons versus.
Oh, that's your girl. My bad. That's your girl.
Kalani Jordan, who
Yep.
just lost the title.
Yep.
The only note I really had on that was like,
What a costume.
what? Well, that. Oh my God.
Yep.
More or less her walking to the ring in it, like the little backstage. Oh, let's come up next. I'm like, you wearing that? Like, okay.
Yep. I figured that had your
crap.
attention.
Yeah, it had my attention. But the main note I had on there was like, did Nikita really get kicked in the face? Because she had one of those spots like we were just talking about with Rhea, where she's kind of grabbing her face like more than you kind of normally would. Although maybe she's just selling it really well. Could have been.
Hard to say. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about her being injured in the back. She took a hell of a slap, though. I'll say that too.
Yeah.
By Rizzo when she came out, when they were going back towards the locker room area, it sounded like she took a hell of a slap. So,
yeah.
So
well, anyways, that's all I really had on that. Was just like wondering if like she actually got kicked in the friggin' face.
Your girl's not going to go for the title right away, but she's going to have a prominent storyline. That's really what's happening there. So
yeah, because she's relatively new. She just debuted like this last month, right?
Well, kind of. She's been injured.
Kinda.
That's been her issue. So she hasn't had a chance to do a whole lot because she's ACL, I want to say it was. Some type of injury where that she was brought in and immediately just kind of put on the shelf because of an injury that I know of. So, yep.
Ouch.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. ACLs are rough. We know a guy. We know a guy who's gone through a lot of ACL issues.
Yeah.
They suck.
Yeah.
So.
All right, you want to jump to SmackDown?
Sure. SmackDown we probably should go pretty quick because SmackDown runs kind of right into Crown Jewel.
Yeah, I don't know if I wrote down everything, but start off right away with Liv versus Tiffany Stratton. A lot of like just smacks with the Money in the Bank briefcase. It's the main thing I wrote down. Just like everyone was getting whacked by that damn thing.
Yeah, I mean the real statement there was the statement by Trinity. Man, I am
Tiffany.
bad with names. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Tiffany making the statement about taking Dom with the belt.
Oh yeah, do I get Dom too? And Dom's like, no.
Yeah, for a moment there was a bit of a hesitation, and then suddenly he's like, no.
Oh, you're looking at me for an answer? Oh no.
Yeah, don't no. It's crazy talk.
I didn't just betray my last, mommy.
Right.
So yeah, no.
I mean, the interesting thing about that to me is that they found a button to get under Liv's skin where the normally reluctant champion was willing to have a match immediately, and that's Dom is the key to that. So we'll see if they use that going forward from a psychological standpoint. But
yeah, even with tonight, she kind of bid on that sort of thing as well.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Everybody was getting smacked with that briefcase, and then there was I don't know if it was just a digital interview or whatever for the website or the socials, but there was a pretty good sized knot on the side of Tiffany's head. But before Crown Jewel, they did a nice job with the makeup because it kind of hit it pretty well.
Maybe she iced the hell out of it trying to get it to go down.
Yep. And again, the makeup crew there is fantastic, so I'm sure they did some help too.
Yeah, I was trying to watch for that because I think you mentioned that before I got an opportunity to watch it. So I was watching for when she got winged in the head. But
yep.
I couldn't pinpoint it myself, but I didn't roll it back a whole bunch.
Yeah,
I'm like, I need to get through this.
There's a social post where she's talking in the back, and there's a good sized lump on the side of her head.
Ouch.
But yeah, a fun match. I mean, it kind of sets her up to be like, okay, I have no challengers right now type of deal, which led into Raw tonight, obviously. But
Yeah.
if you beat Tiffany, then you beat Nia. You put Rhea on the shelf. You know.
Yeah. The other big thing with Tiffany with that, what was that the spot where she kind of like what like told like Nia to like kind of like hold her horses, like, hey, I might cash in on you too. Like
Kinda.
I think that's what kind of started that whole thing, because that's what got it into a match, and Nia still stayed hanging out. Like I
Yeah. She
I
she
guess I'm over on her corner.
Yeah, it's
She
kind of
just threatened
interesting.
me.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how that's going on because like she kind of does do that, but Nia hangs out, and then the match at Crown Jewel happens, and she comes running out to cash in, and Nia's like, "This ain't part of it. You're too early. Get back, get back."
Yeah.
Like Nia's, it's not even clicking in Nia's head that Tiffany could cash in on her. Like it's she's blatantly doing it in front of her face, and Nia's not. Whether it's because she just thinks she's too dominant or what, but Nia's not even really taking it seriously that she could cash in on her. So
Yeah, and the last time she looked like she could be cashing in on either one of them, Nia caught her and she just kept downplaying, like, no, no, I wasn't going to cash in on you. And
right,
Liv, yeah.
right.
Just,
But
yeah.
the past two times she obviously went off script from what her and Nia's game plan were and came down early, and then like you said on SmackDown, she made it sound like, hey, I could cash in on you too. So like the division is there. For whatever reason, Nia's not taking it seriously though.
Because she's the very dominant force.
Yes,
Yeah, ragdoll most of the girls in the division.
this is true.
That's pretty much why.
I don't know who she's got next for her belt though at this point. Naomi, I guess Naomi is the one doing the most lifting here, so
Yeah.
with the most wins.
So I like seeing some of the bigger girls come up and
They'll
whatnot.
be there soon.
Because
And whenever they break Raquel off of Liv, Raquel will also be a girl that has a lot of power to her.
yeah,
We also did see the last, for now, Indy Hartwell match on SmackDown.
yeah, that was her last one.
Yeah,
Okay.
she. Why am I blanking on the other two people? Her, Baron
Uh
Corbin, and somebody else were released.
oh.
Three people. I'm blanking on one, and I apologize. But yeah,
Why? I know Baron Corbin, but some reason in my
the
head I'm like
lone wolf. Wolf?
blanking on him.
Man, words are hard. I should not be doing this. This is not my future because I can't speak. It seems critical to this this
I'm,
format to be able to
I'm
speak.
I'm not a lot better. There's been
So
quite a few times already tonight. I've been a mush mouth.
Baron Corbin had, I think Baron Corbin was supposed to have the future that Damian Priest is having, in my opinion.
Oh.
He came out as the lone wolf and had moves like the end of days and this and that. And truthfully, I hope I'm wrong, but then his hair thinned out and he
Yeah.
shaved his head. And his career took a drastic turn in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I guess that look, like his look went from yeah to nah.
Right. And to be fair to him, he tried he was not tried. He committed to any gimmick they gave him. They gave him one where he was out on his luck and poor and couldn't win a match. And then he had one where he won and had a happier attitude. And he was happy-go-lucky Baron Corbin, and he wore like a straw hat, I think, one time. And he was all happy with everything. And then he went back down to NXT, and I believe he won the NXT tag titles at one point with, I think, Braun Breaker was his partner at the time. And he was more of his older self again, more dominant. But whatever gimmick they gave him, he ran with. So he was 100% a trooper and tried, but he just felt like he was supposed to have that dark, kind of evil, dominant presence. And to me, it felt like once his hair was gone, they were like, we don't know what you're tall. You can't be Austin. can't make you a luchador. We don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
Because there really aren't too many bald superstars on the roster. Uh, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. Hope there was more reason to it than just that, but that's what it feels like to me.
It does seem like that look just kind of killed him.
Yeah, because he had a whole different gimmick going. But
Yeah.
so that was Baron Corbin,
Well,
and I can't think of who the other person is besides Indy Hartwell. It's gonna bug the daylights out of me. But the three of them got released, so that was the last Indy Hartwell match for now. I could very easily see her go and storm the Indies for a while, and end up back on a main roster again.
yeah.
This is just one of those things, and WWE's the only one that does it I know of. That you could be in the middle of a storyline and they'll cut you anyways. It's so weird.
Yeah, that's odd. Like,
They did that with Malachi Black or Aleister Black back then. They cut him after they just gave him an entire storyline with like Rey Mysterio. Like he was in
so
one,
bizarre.
and he got I think it was Ray, maybe it was Dom. He gets his eye like kind of poked out on the stairs, and comes back from that. He's got two different contacts, and he's still out. Malachi Black still wears two different contacts, so he's kept that going for his personal character from one organization to the other. But it was really weird because he was smack dab in the middle of this, and he was cut, and that storyline just ends. It's so weird.
Was that under Vince or was that
Vince.
under
It was back at pandemic days, so it was
Okay.
Vince.
That makes more sense.
But Vince didn't control the cuts. I mean, I'm sure he could have stopped it if he wanted to stop it, but they're always their chief financial officer person, I believe. The other Khan, I think, controlled the cuts. Now Vince obviously could have stepped in and said, "I don't want him cut," but
Yeah,
Vince,
I mean, wasn't Vince still within part of creative? I mean, he was.
yes. I mean,
I mean,
they're
he's
even
never
before he sold. He wasn't part of creative supposedly, but he was. So everyone
Yeah.
felt like that. All the rumors on social was he was still running things, and but Alistair always was more of a Hunter guy than he was a Vince guy. So that's kind of was the reason why most people weren't surprised that he got cut, is because I think he was undefeated in NXT with Hunter running things, and then came with the main roster and had a much different experience. So
Yeah.
had some great tag matches with Ricochet as his partner too in NXT.
That kind of seemed to be part of the thing where it was like, I don't know what percentage split, but like some of the people coming from NXT to like say main roster would just get sandbagged. Like,
Yeah, just if you were a Vince guy or not, and if you didn't fit the mold for what Vince liked, you weren't going to do well. So like if Braun Breaker came up back in the day with Vince, all signs point to Braun Breaker would have had a great career. But if you're Johnny Gargano, you're not having a great career.
what about like Shinsuke Nakamura? Like, whatever happened to him?
I he was in matches as soon as like maybe 6 months ago. I think he maybe was wrestling against Cody.
I was gonna say I thought I saw him somewhat recently,
Yeah, he was
but
wrestling against
now,
Cody.
what I've been seeing is like nothing. Like around WrestleMania, like I saw him around then.
Yeah, yeah,
What
he
happened
was.
there.
They just fell out of work for him right now. I don't know if he's still under contract or not. He probably is. But you'll have that occasionally. You'll have people that you're like, I forgot he was under contract with them still.
Yeah.
Well. So yeah.
Hopefully that's what's going on with him.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's getting older. I think he probably will be winding down soon. He had a lot of massive battles over in New Japan before even coming to WWE. He had some epic matches with AJ in New Japan, and I mean, so he came here. I hope he got paid.
Yeah, I hope so.
And then had the glory days of NXT and had a good run there, and didn't do bad on the main roster, but just we don't.
Yeah, but after a while, it seemed like it was not quite like Baron Corbin, but like kind of fizzled out. Where it's just like it almost seems like there's no push at all.
Yeah, which happens, and you get that
Yeah.
rotation. And then he did. He kind of had a cool push. His last push against Cody. They were doing these cool like anime style video packages for him, and they looked really cool. But he ended up, I believe, losing to Cody, and that was kind of the end of the push that time.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right, was watching the end of Monday Night Football there.
I have it off. I'm gonna get caught up after we're done. So
yeah. Okay, I won't spoil anything there. So I don't have a heck of a lot written down for the rest of SmackDown. Street Profits versus Pretty Deadly.
Street
not,
Profits are a great team.
Yeah, I don't know. In this match, I don't know if it was too slow for me or what, but I was finding myself kind of zoning out of it and just might have just been my ADD playing hell with me.
Street Profits can put on great matches and they have great pacing. They've been so up and down though on what their is your phone on your mic?
No. Phone's here. Microphone's over here.
So anyways, clear. Always so clear.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I took the ringer off immediately. But how's like Pretty Deadly? Because I think that's the first time I've seen them, and I don't know. Maybe these two tag teams just weren't gelling. For that match.
Pretty Deadly was sold to me back when they were in NXT as a Young Bucks ripoff, and they're very far from it. In my opinion.
No. Yeah, I wouldn't
really they're I don't know if they've had a chance to wrestle, in my opinion, to the top of their ability. They definitely are characters, and they're great at they're playing their characters. But as far as what they actually do in the ring moveset wise, they're not there for me either. So, but they're just good character wrestlers, and in my opinion, and but they're also a heel, so their job is to be slow. Their job is to be annoying. Their job is to do all the things we dislike. That's their whole job. So if we're talking about it that way, then maybe they're succeeding.
Yeah.
Street Profits are tough. Street Profits went from being good guys and having the crowd and being so over to being put into a stable with Lashley and MVP. The Hurt Business, I think it's called. So they were heels, and then they cut MVP and Lashley, so that dissolved, and now Street Profits are instantly back to being good guys again, and with no momentum. So rough.
Oh, that's weird. I'm thinking of if I'm not mixing them up with anything, like the week before. They were almost coming off as like heels, so that's weird. Strange what they're doing with them then.
Well, because they don't work as heels without the bad guy faction, and the bad guy faction honestly is now in AEW because they cut them and they got signed by AEW. So
okay,
MVP debuted a couple weeks ago in AEW, and then this past Wednesday, Bobby Lashley debuted at AEW. And so when half of the heel faction literally moved to AEW, what do you do with that? And if you keep them as heels, all you do is remind them of people you fired. You know what I mean? If you keep them as heels, oh yeah, they were part of that heel group that, oh yeah, half of them went over to the other brand. So let them, they're going to get momentum back. Put them in a match against the, MCM or something. Mostly Machine Guns and them would work fantastic together, in my opinion. And they'll be back as a fan favorite and hyped up again in no time. But you just got to give them the right type of match. And I know that the WWE loves its heel versus good guy scenario, but remind people that these boys can wrestle and the pacing they can go at. And right now, either DIY or MCM, they fit their style of wrestling better. And I just think you could put on a banger of a match. Everyone's like, oh yeah, they're awesome again. And then you can go put them against bad guys again. But you just got to remember you have to remind the fans how good the Street Profits really were.
Okay.
I think that's what happened there.
So I need to see them with a better matchup.
Pretty much, yeah. This was just them doing good guys versus bad guys, trying to establish them as a good guy again, because Pretty Deadly's always been a heel because of the way they work. So
Yeah. This is the last thing I would have for SmackDown here is okay. With Hartwell gonna be gone, what is Candice LeRae gonna do here? Just not be part of a tag team? Just be on
she'll
her own?
hopefully she gets time to keep going out there and doing stuff. She's kind of like a mom figure, if I understand. So people like working with her, but
Yeah.
she had some time
Because
off. She's
been
come
doing
back.
this a little bit of a feud with Bailey and Naomi, but with no partner. She's
Well,
kind of just
if
left out
Naomi
there.
is the next to get the shot at Nia, then Candice can work with Bailey for a little while, hopefully.
That would probably work.
Yeah, and then have those two work matches together. I think that would be pretty solid. It feels like they're trying to establish singles versus tag superstars right now on both the men and the women's roster, and that might be a good way to just. This is Bailey's single, Candice is a single wrestler. This person's a singles wrestler, and distinguish the differences right now. They're already, but I say that, but they're already blurring the lines with the tag team. The tag teams being the end of the Rumble here on Raw here with Jade and Bianca at the end of the.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm wrong. I think they're trying to distinguish tag teams versus single wrestlers and kind of like splitting the divisions up so that hey, we are set because they've been doing this. They haven't let tag teams, especially on the women's side, develop. They just throw two people together, have them be a tag team for 5 minutes, and then break them apart again, over and over and over again. So I would like to see that stop, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I think we better get on the crown jewel. We've been going at this for like an hour.
Yep, crown jewel. Super long matches were good.
Yeah.
Really big belts, really big rings. Summed up.
Yeah. Pretty much. Their crowd with the bloodline versus bloodline match, just starting off with it. The throwing punches back and forth. The yeah, boo, yeah, boo.
They understood. They understood their role. They knew how to fan appropriately. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good match. I mean, it was what it was. We kind of saw that coming. It still at the time was 4-on-3, so we knew that there was going to be some type of interjection where we need to have someone show up, and that someone was Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
After the fact, but
yeah, well, it was to save Jay from getting crippled with a chair in the corner.
And then
they corner solo, and
then line up across from Roman, and everyone knew someone was going to get hit, Roman or Sammy. Kind of figured it'd be Sammy hitting Roman, so that it carries on the same. Do we have any trust storylines?
Well, I got that anyways by having Sammy would look like kick Roman in the head.
Yep, and that's where the trust factor comes in. Like, oh, you came in and saved Jay, but are you on Jay's side or are you not on Jay's side because you still want to kick Roman in the head?
And like Jimmy tonight on Raw going like he did it on purpose. Everyone saw it. It's just like, no one thinks that.
Yeah, so
we're not buying that line. But anyways,
we're at the family thing again, which is the exact same place the bloodline was with these four before. No wise men yet, still.
Yeah,
which is interesting. But
they're probably working up to it. He's probably taking some time off. He was going pretty hot and heavy for quite a while there.
Yeah, he was. He deserved some time off. He did a lot of traveling. He should show up on Wednesday, in my opinion, but we'll see.
Oh, very good point. Is there anything with Bloodline for Wednesday, or you think he's just going to show up as just like
it'd be just an ECW thing?
You know who I am, and you know why I'm here, sorta.
It's like he would come out to do what he always did, in my opinion, which is he wouldn't want to. He would probably do it respectfully at this point in his career, where he wouldn't want to step on the toes of the GM, but he'd come out and if there's some need to add a team to a match, or if there's some need to restart a match, I could see him coming out with his hat and his trench coat on, and being like, pretty much saying, you don't run the shots around here. This is my arena. I made it famous. I call the shots. Restart this match, or RVD's in this match, or whatever. Add the person, do whatever, because he always used to do that kind of stuff. Somebody would come out and be like, I'm not wrestling that team, or that team because I'm the champion and I say so. And then Heyman would come out and be like, you're not wrestling those teams? No, you are. You're wrestling that team, and that team right now. Get a ref and ring the bell. That was the chaos that was ECW. So I could see him having a role like that. The real crime is if they don't bring back Joey Styles, though, for at least one match.
Yeah.
He was the voice. He essentially became the heart and soul of that company because he voiced everything by himself. So
yeah,
I would love to see him make an appearance as well.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see both of them.
I mean, if they're turning into a nostalgic fest anyways, I mean, they I don't see why not. And that's kind of what they're doing. They're selling it on the nostalgia of ECW, even though I'm pretty sure the average fan of NXT wasn't alive for the demise of ECW.
Yeah, it's true. But the two possible things I can think of why they don't get it to happen. One, they just can't strike a deal with Joey Styles, like whatever some reason he just says freaking no,
right?
Or they don't offer him enough money, so he's like definitely no. And then for the wise man, that it's just like you're already a part of a storyline where you got like demolished. Like you can't just randomly show up one night and be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine, hi."
He was demolished over 5 months ago, and he was gone.
True.
A while back, and they are pulling people out of the woodwork for this one because Dawn Marie is going to ref a match, I'm pretty sure, or be there in some way, shape, or form. Francine is supposed to be there. So I mean, they're calling back a lot. I mean, you got Bubba, you got RVD. It's a 2-hour show. Like, how many people can you pull back in for ECW for that arena? And I don't know. I'm curious to see how it goes. I'm gonna watch, obviously, but
yeah. God, we got a lot to go through.
Let's keep rolling. Let's just rapid fire it now. Rapid fire.
Okay. The women's crazy tag team champion. The four teams where only 2 opponents can be in the ring at one time. So you have those weird, I got into the corner. That's not my corner. And they slapped me on the back and tagged me in.
Yep.
They had one really weird one where Jade's carrying around Chelsea Green. Last Legend, from what I could tell on TV, tags Green, and Jade is the one that has to like go back to her corner and is in the ring. It was really weird. Like it's like she tags like Green's foot as like Jade's just like got her in a fireman carry, tags her foot, but Jade has to step out of the ring even though she didn't get to.
I missed that.
It was weird.
I missed that, and that just seems like that would.
It might have been I didn't have the right angle on it because it was the team that has their back to like the hard camera, so maybe I don't know. I question it, but we don't have enough time to really like get into that.
Right.
I got one of the things I wanted to see with it: Jade and Lash facing off. Holy shit!
Yep.
Oh, that looks good for potential shit later on down the line.
Yep.
What was it? There was what was it? Shane O'Mac, or no, it was. My note is like shitty here. I don't know. There was some sort of weird Macho Man elbow to like standing Chelsea and Piper off like the. Oh, it was.
I'm waiting for it.
Io Sane.
Nope. You combined Io Sky and Kairi Sane to Io Sane.
Damn it! How am I doing this? How am I doing this?
I love it.
Well, I wrote down
Kairi Sane does the insane elbow.
Kairi Sane.
And it's my favorite pirate.
Okay.
Yeah, she does it to the standing outside, and she goes full extension. She gets a full, like, that would be like tens in like a rollerblading contest because she gets full. She turns her body, she tweaks it.
Yeah, and she did off the top turnbuckle to the outside doing this. I'm like, what the fuck was
Yeah, she
that?
weighs 12 pounds, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, well, still, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah,
To
no, it
throw
looks
your
cool.
body that way.
Well, she does that for every one of her elbow drops. That the inside elbow drop used to be done from the top rope to a laying down opponent, and they've just done some variations. And this is what I talked about before, where it felt like they were trying to give tag team women's a chance to develop move sets, like tag team move sets. And her teaming with Io has shown that because you got the pop up elbow drop too, the one where Jade wouldn't get out of the ring.
Oh yeah, you want to talk tag team move sets? That leads into my next thing where Lash pumps up Sane like onto her shoulders in a fireman's carry, and then throws her at Jackson for a sit down power bomb. Like, holy crap!
Yeah, the only problem I had with that was, and it looked great. It almost looked perfect. They just didn't quite get enough distance. The power bomb part of it was almost pointless because, um, um, Jackson didn't get close enough. Like she like the power bomb is like here in front of her, and she's like got like here, like it just if you watch, I don't feel like it got close enough to really get the oomph from the power bomb part of it.
Oh, okay. I didn't have any complaints like that.
I love the idea, and it's still, if you're just casually watching, it looks fantastic. But it just needs to get.
You called me a filthy casual, eh?
I was casually watching this whole pay-per-view because there was a lot of shit going on, but
okay.
But just a little bit further over. But it looked great. I mean, it still looked devastating, but there was like no catch part of it involved. It was just like Chuck dead, and if there's nothing that the other person's doing, catching or even like assisting or getting their hands better on them, then to me, I'm always like, well, why doesn't Legend just chuck her like that without the other partner there? You know what I mean? So that's about it. But it looks great. I love that they're coming up with tag team moves. That's fantastic. That are individualizing these teams.
And with those girls being so lightweight, is just like,
oh, they're great.
Man.
They're there to be tossed.
Yeah.
They're durable. They're veteran ladies that are there to be tossed around because they weigh like 2 pounds. That was me in martial arts. I was $160 at 16, and every woman that was in class would love to have me as like the demonstration person at like tournaments and stuff, because even if there was a hard concrete floor or marble floor with no padding, they could toss me, and I know he's going to bounce back up. It doesn't matter. And he's not as heavy as like these 200-pound men who are just older, so they have that 25-year-old weight to them. I was still 16. So I totally get it. They're durable and they're super light, so they're there to be tossed.
They would have loved to have been using me. I was only 120 pounds at that age.
Yeah, I was bounced off concrete floors. My one instructor punched me square in the face, but her back was to the judges in this routine. So like, I never did what they called what did they call that? It was like a demonstration thing. It was literally like you set up your own choreographed fight, and you had attackers come at you. I always worked with Becky and my other instructor as well, and working on like disarming things for firearms and disarming for knives and things like that. And it just so happened in this routine, I came and attacked from an angle where, thankfully, her back was to the judges, because when she did the hip throw, and came down with the punch to the face, she connected. She flat out connected. And she's super intense, and she was always really good, but she connected, and she broke character for 2 seconds and was like, so sorry. And then went right back to what she had to do to keep competing, which I was fine with. It actually was harder for me not to laugh than anything else, because she broke character for that. And, but yeah, that was it. You could take a beating, and they knew that was fine, that they weren't going to hurt me. So, but that's the same idea here. You can toss a Kyrie Sane around, and odds are she's not going to get hurt because she's been doing this for so long. She knows how to fall. She knows how to do everything. And
Yeah.
so she can make all those moves look fantastic. So
And lightweight and springy. Yeah.
right, exactly. The only complaint I
So,
had about Jade that whole match, because Jade's getting better. Jade is obviously getting better every match, and
oh,
she's
yeah.
going to be a force and a force in the ring and a force probably in the industry as a star in general. But Kyrie and Io are both setting up for the pop up insane elbow, and you can see them stand there prepping for it. And Jade is laying on the right next, like under the bottom rope on that side, and you can see them prepping for it. She looks at him, doesn't move. Kyrie does the veteran thing, goes over, kicks her like 2-3 times, like a hey, roll out of the ring. Now I've given you a reason to roll out of the ring. I've instigated offense. Now roll out. She then walks back. They do the same pose for the situation again, and Jay's still laying there. And then Kyrie goes, I have to do this. This is my time. This is what we're supposed to do. And starts running towards the rope. And that's when Jay goes, oh, this is what we're doing. And just rolls out of the ring right before Kyrie gets there for no reason. Like, she needed to roll out earlier. That's the only thing. But to be fair, again, you have 4 teams in the ring in a scramble situation. It's going to be chaotic. You're going to lose track of where you're at. You're going to lose track of what's happening next. And that's what I think happened.
It's got to be a little rough because
there's a lot going on, and you're trying to remember everybody's individual things are supposed to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be hard.
Yeah, but that was a fantastic match. It was a lot of fun.
Did you notice all the gemstones all over the ring at the end of it?
I had to rewind to see it after you said that, but I'm like, oh my, yes.
I didn't see any missing from the front of Jade and Belair's like onesies. It must have been like off the back, like any bumps they took on the back, them just popping off or something. Because the front of their outfits, because they won and retained, and they're standing there. I'm staring at them like it doesn't look like you have any missing spots. I don't know. Must have come off the back.
Yeah, that was I didn't notice it at first. After you said that, I'm like, oh, that's okay. I didn't see that happening during the match. I don't know how I missed that, but okay.
Yeah. Oh, let's keep blazing through rolling. It. Seth and Bronson. Brawl starts up the ramp.
Did
Seth's just like, I'm bringing it to you.
Did nothing at all except give us a good match, but did nothing storyline wise.
Not really.
Match was fantastic. They did a good job with it.
Head stomps on the stairs.
Hit him with everything he could. Got the win. So hit him with enough. But then Reed gets up and looks angry and like a monster still. And he's like, okay, so we've established that Seth can beat him, but we've also established nothing's changed. This guy's just a monster. Like that's what we've established here. So nothing really was done with this match other than entertaining, good match, and that's fine. That's what I was telling you. That's what the pay-per-views are. The pay-per-views are now good, solid matches, but they don't do a whole lot to advance storyline plots besides maybe end a storyline or start one. But there's not a whole lot typically. No backstage stage segments. No, none of this, none of that. None of
Yeah.
No.
Like the storyline of them, it sort of seemed like they were gonna go with giving Bronson a win to kind of do that whole thing where it's just like, well, I gotta beat one of you like veterans to kind of prove that I belong here, and he still gets beat. I mean, he still ends up looking strong because he pops right back up after all taking all that damage and like, I'm still a monster. But I don't know. I guess still made him look strong, but I thought they were gonna give him a little bit more there.
They're probably just keep running with this storyline right now because what do you do with Seth? Unless Seth was going to go after Gunther, I don't know what else you do.
Yeah.
But they want Damien to go after Gunther, as we found out on Raw. So might as well. This helps Bronson Reed look more credible because he's going against Seth. Seth, as much as he's so good, he can take losses left and right and no one cares. So he gets to be a good gatekeeper for talent. You have someone you want to show and highlight, you put him against Seth, and that's what they're doing here. But they didn't want to make Seth lose the first match out of the whatever this becomes, a trilogy or whatever. So I think that's all they're doing. They're probably going to wrestle 2-3 more times.
Basically, Bronson's got to still climb this hill.
Right. And they're going to
There's
drag
nothing to
this
get
out.
her away.
And honestly, Seth might take some time off after it. Maybe the last match is so brutal that Seth takes time off.
Yeah.
Because he's a monster. This guy's got to hurt people. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
It's true.
So,
After that we had Liv and Nia Jax for the first Crown Jewel Championship.
yeah.
It went pretty much how everyone probably pretty much expected. Nia Jax dominating until people started interfering, including Tiffany, and you know, Liv just sneaks away with the win.
Yep.
So,
I mean,
I don't know if there's too much to cover with that. It's just kind of how anyone has to beat Nia at this point.
again, they don't do enough with the luchador style, take the knees out, wear her down, win with speed. They don't do that enough right now, but I don't think they wanted to make that. They wanted to keep Nia strong. So this is the easiest way to do it. Let the bad girl win with help and be tricky and maniacal and win the belt that way. Liv is the superstar right now. She's mega on top of everything. But you want Nia to keep looking strong, so this is the way you do it. Nia still looks unstoppable, and you put the belt on the megastar right now.
Yeah. Well, after that, we're going into KO and Randy Orton. I was laughing my butt off with KO wearing a Cowboy Bob Orton shirt.
He is so good. He is so good.
What a dick.
When he's on the screen, watch what he's wearing is it's intentional. Every time it's so good. So he's worn, I believe he wore a Dusty shirt one time against Cody. He's worn Randy's dad's shirt. For ECW for WrestleMania last year in Philadelphia, his KO shirt was purple and red with barbed wire. So instead of just being a blatant ECW tribute, it was a subtle ECW tribute, which was really good.
Yeah.
When he was here in Cleveland, I'm 99% sure he wore a Chandler Biggins shirt. That was one of the two. Our local promotion had two people who pretty much started it, essentially. And Biggins was one of them. And he unfortunately passed away much, much too early. And there was a benefit show for him really early on when I started going. Really early for me. That was like 2016, 17 area. Maybe 17. And he wore that shirt out to the ring in Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken. So his shirt choices are always maybe a bit much, but almost always have some significance, either the story, the location, something. And he's very good about that. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised to see him wearing that shirt. He's very good with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think this was the first time in the whole thing they showed the decibel meter during Randy's entrance that like they were so hyped on singing along with his that they were just peaking it at almost 110 decibels.
I feel like they're really big on the veterans over there. Like they like that's what they enjoy the most is the veteran superstars, more so than even the younger ones. And then the women, I don't know how to judge that with their culture. I'm not gonna lie. So you might not get the same response for a Rhea that you get here over there. But that could be a cultural thing. I don't know. I'm not even going to begin to speculate. So I guess it makes sense for Randy to be the first one that they show the meter on. I think it just fits.
Yeah.
They haven't talked about the watch recently. They always used to go back to the watch saying it's dangerous decibel levels for your hearing if you're sustaining more than a half hour of that. They haven't mentioned that in a minute.
Oh. Yeah,
they were big on that for a while there. Right around
that reference.
Right around SummerSlam or before SummerSlam, they go, my watch has been yelling at me, man, for the last 30 minutes. Tell me this is too loud. I'm going to have hearing damage from it. That's how loud it is up in here. They were doing that for a while. Maybe they were taking an Apple Watch sponsorship. I don't know, but they were doing that for a while.
Yeah, they had a layer point in Crown Jewel where that decibel meter showed up again, but it was
probably
just
for Cody.
barely topping over 100. I didn't write it down. It just didn't seem too significant. about to run through the whole thing with KO and Randy here. KO cheap shots Randy with a chair in the back of the knee before
Mm-hmm.
they'd even ring the bell. They don't end up ringing the bell. He's he stuns the ref. Match gets called off. Whole kerfuffle. Both GMs come out.
Yep.
Randy RKO's Adam Pierce.
Yep.
Uh, I put brawl into the crowd, but in a way, not
Right.
really. They kind of
Right.
back behind the crowd, and I couldn't really tell what exactly KO did through the
Like
table.
an elbow drop.
Was it okay? Was it elbow drop? Because at first I thought it was a frog splash, and then was it playing again? I'm like, wait, that looks more like an elbow. So I'm like,
Those are the two things he does: frog
frog,
splashes and elbow drops. But the way he
frog
was
elbow.
frog, someone does that.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Locally, I think Trey Lamar might be doing a froggy elbow.
What the hell?
Honestly, Lamar might be actually doing a froggy elbow. It's been a minute. I've missed the last show, but I think he does a froggy elbow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too bummed that we didn't get a match out of that.
No, no. I think
It
you're
was
just setting up for the next major PLE. I think it's at some point. Um, I don't know if he'll win and then Randy will come after him. I don't know if this will be some point where Randy interferes in a KO match and costs him something down the road. But to me, this just felt like a setup for a grander story down the road.
that, and I took it as kind of like given this crowd that only gets matches one time a year, that match that spills out into the crowd, even though they didn't quite do it that way. I think there might have been another example of that during the night, but that's why I kind of saw that as
No, that could be. That could be.
like
Um,
don't give them a traditional match, give them kind of a brawl to the outside,
Makes sense. It could have been.
bit
It
of
could have been that.
chaos.
I didn't even think of
Um,
it that way. I just looked at it as a standpoint for something bigger down the road, but it could have been that for sure.
Honestly, would you bringing that up? I sort of think both. Like that's it's a good point that you made. I just think they kind of they're going to utilize it like that, but they did it in a way like this for the crowd.
And Kevin Owens is
Um,
usually the one that goes into the crowd, so that makes a lot of
yeah,
sense.
yeah. Uh, Carmelo Hayes versus how do I say it? Andrade.
Yep, nailed it.
Oh, good, good. I was trying to practice that this weekend. I'm like, come on, remember this.
Andrade.
And
Oh, I can't speak. I'm just done.
Andrade.
Andrade's been around for a long time, so
Yeah, he was very familiar to me. Did he ever go by a different name? Just the same one?
no, I think it's just been the same one. Then he actually
Okay.
left and he went to AEW for a while, and he came back.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
was married to Charlotte for a while. I don't know if he's still married to Charlotte or not, but he was married to Charlotte for a
Oh.
while.
Yeah. Well, I've definitely recognized him. Carmelo Hayes too. So it's kind of like maybe I'm relearning them.
Yeah, Hayes was in
Uh,
NXT for a long time and was their champion and stuff, and has come up since then. Super talented
yeah.
kid.
And then, of course, LA Knight in this three-way dance for this. Um, Andrade threw an inverted Spanish fly off the second rope. Is that
Yes.
that's like seems like something he's kind of normally doing?
Yeah, that's one of his signature moves.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, off the second rope is the part that I think really gets me because a lot of those I end up seeing like off the top rope.
Yeah, it
But
gives people more time to rotate,
yeah,
but
with those competitors, God, they don't need it. And then the surprise moonsault to the outside to LA Knight going over the post.
hmm
Announcers were like, I didn't think he was going that way.
I want to say he's done that before, but it's very rare. And yeah, just super impressive and fun because it's just out of nowhere.
Oh, um, then the last thing I have on here is they're doing one of those things with the top rope where two guys are kind of setting up and then the third guy jumps up. So LA Knight jumps up there, slips on the rope, kind of looks like he crotches himself, but instead of them just kind of doing away with it, like, oh, he did that. They actually give it a sec for him to sort of like recover and actually do what they were going for there.
Right.
Which, yeah, I guess into that thing where the negative podcasters will be like, oh, a botch, but it's like, did you ever try to jump up on those ropes when there's two other dudes already up there?
He does it very well when there's only one other dude up there.
It's
Two other dudes makes it very crowded up there.
yeah, that's difficult. Like,
He was able to recover quickly enough that it's fine. You know,
yeah,
if he had to recover in a slow fashion, or he would still stumble with his footing. But the man, for being the type of wrestler he is, to have the balance he does, he was able to get right back to the top rope where he needed to be in a heartbeat.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, he like took a moment, like a small moment break. Like,
oh yeah.
oh, am
Yeah, I just
okay?
got crotched out of the
Okay.
top rope up my ass. It's a horrible feeling right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta
Yeah.
recover. I gotta move on.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of good, but pointing out
I
that the negative Nancy's are going to be like, oh,
listen. That match was
it's
high
like,
paced and fun from start to finish. So negative people
it was.
will look at that one moment and nitpick it because I don't know what else you're gonna nitpick from that match. That match was fast paced, fun, and surprising in a lot of ways throughout the whole thing. And quite honestly, from a match perspective, may have stole the show for me in the first place because I wasn't expecting much from that match, and I was proven very wrong.
Yeah, that one was very entertaining.
Even the finish
Like,
was great. Even the way and Hayes, I think Hayes is the one that takes the BFT. That's
okay.
LA Knight's finisher.
Yeah.
Blunt force trauma. He spikes him. He looks like he spikes himself, and he takes it great. But
Oh yeah.
and Andrade gets a similar type of move done to him essentially, which is why he rolls out. But Hayes took that fantastic. The way he took that looked great, and it was just classic. So I enjoyed it from start to finish. I really didn't expect much out of that match, and I was maybe that's why I think it stole the show. But I think that as a wrestling match itself stole the show. So
Yeah. And we wrap up that with Gunter and Cody Rhodes for the men's crown jewel match. Yeah, that was interesting. That was like more of like, well, like what you'd kind of expect with Gunter, kind of a
it was a
slower,
traditional.
technical kind of wrestling match. So much that the crowd started doing like the soccer chants with all of a sudden everyone in the crowd got out their phones with the flashlight and started waving them around, like
Yeah,
everyone all together. They started doing the wave in the background. I noticed, like,
yeah.
okay,
It's tough. It's tough to do a main event like that. At
what was
that long.
interesting, they didn't seem like bored with the match. They seemed like they were still like they're enjoying the match, but they still have like a ball of energy, and they're just like adding to it.
It's tough because typically when you have a wave going on at a sporting event, that means they've checked out. They're more involved in their own actions than what's going on in the ring. So I admit the energy level was better than that typically is when the fan's doing a wave. But typically it's not great. It's the same reason why in the past when like say a Raw after Mania happens and a beach ball shows up in the crowd, I've seen Randy go out there and pop it. It's because you're turning the show about the crowd, not the competitors in the ring.
Yeah,
So
it's stealing the show.
Yep.
One thing that annoyed me about this match, Gunther ends up doing a move I actually loved seeing come back, the Boston Crab. But then, what was it? One of the announcers is going like, "Oh yeah, it's all the pain in the lower back." I've been in the Boston Crab. You are not focused on your lower back. You are focused on your abdominal muscles being torn apart.
Yeah, it depends on how it's being done.
I guess I've had someone sit directly on my back. Your fucking cousin.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my cousin's not the
It-
heaviest man. So if you're lighter
um, he
and
was
you,
then. He was heavy enough then because I
well,
couldn't get out of that.
well, my thought on that is that if you sit on someone's back and you weigh a decent amount, the lower back is going to hurt. If you're on someone's back and you don't weigh a super ton, but you crank back real far, then the abdominal muscle is going to hurt because you're stretching out the abs at that point. So it's really just more or less how it's applied, but they're always going to say it's the lower back. That's just how the commentary works.
Yeah. That just irks me.
That's fair.
You learn that as a kid as you start putting your
Friends in wrestling holds.
friends or
Don't
brothers
do this
in
at
wrestling
home.
holds.
I will do
Yeah.
this all over the place.
Yeah.
Flying elbow drop.
Yeah, this is not gonna stop me there.
Yeah. Nice warning. Fun graphic. Can I hit someone with this TV? Can I hit someone with the TV with the warning on it as it happens?
Yes.
So
the ending of this match though, I don't know. For me that was like kind of like everything because it was just this slow build up to like holy shit, because that was pretty amazing trying to go into a super Cody cutter
yep.
into a sleeper and just Cody keeps going with it and turns it into a like bridge pin.
Here's my only problem. Anybody who likes that finish now but hates it when it happens to Shayna, blah. So that finisher happens to Shayna occasionally because Shayna does different chokes because her background is MMA. So when Shayna Baszler wrestles, a lot of times she will use those types of chokes and those holds because I think at one time she was like the 13th ranked woman in the world. And the best way to counter that in the wrestling world is to roll back like that into that type of pin.
Yeah.
And I know I remember negative thoughts about it when it happened to Shayna, but so I just want to throw that out there. And anybody who was upset about it, I think it makes a lot of sense too, and it makes sense for why you do it to Shayna and why you do it to Gunther. It's because they still look
reversals, man.
Right, but they still look strong. Like they still have a hold that technically would be a detriment to the person, even though technically rolling through might give you some more air, but it allows for them to get the 3 count on you in a way that's quick and unsuspecting because, like you said, it's a counter. So it makes all the sense in the world. Gunther still looks strong, and Cody gets the win, but it looks like he escapes barely out of it, essentially. And
it's like when saying, roll-up pins are cheap when someone's distracted. It's just like, your shoulders are down, buddy. Like you're in a match.
Right. Well, those are they'll always like listen to the commentary. They'll say that they stole that win with that roll up. Like it's not considered a win that you'd like a dominant fashion win. Like you just snuck out of there with it. But it's still a win, like you said. It's still a win.
Sometimes you gotta think with your head. You outsmart your opponent.
Yep. So I think it was a good finish. It made a lot of sense. Obviously, they wanted to put it on Cody because Cody is also the megastar right now still. So Liv and Cody make the most sense. They're the 2 biggest stars in your sport right now to put those belts on.
Yeah.
But those belts don't leave the country, so.
Yeah, so you saw the after show a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like what they did there. That was kind of cool. That was an after show that actually kept me watching rather than just listening. So
there was one. I only
cool.
saw the clip of this that Liv was on, and with Big E was talking, and he said something about someone. Oh, was it with the Samoan Spike? He was talking about how Solo, what was it, demolished or dominated the throat of Roman. And yeah, Liv gave the same look you just gave, that side eye to Big E as he said it.
He just say to us.
She did one of those like wait, phrasing, bro, phrasing. But yeah, that caught my eye too. That was pretty funny in my mind. But yeah, so
it's is Big E like officially retired? Because I know he got injured and
He
it
broke his
seemed like
neck.
he just can't.
I don't
Like, is
know.
it just seems like not coming back from that? Last
I
I
haven't
heard,
heard
it
anything
was
official,
questionable.
but I assume that he's not coming back from that. I assume that the W is going to give him this role, and he's always had enough personality that this role makes a lot of sense for him too. So,
It does.
like you said, we when he's on, I'm watching because he's entertaining and he's knowledgeable, and
Yeah.
he's knowledgeable in a way that's entertaining. It doesn't seem like he's a
Yeah.
know-it-all. He's having fun with it,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
so if he wants to come back, I hope he can. It seems like
Yeah.
everybody's gotten cleared after a while with these neck injuries, so.
Yeah. I wasn't just gonna bring that up, but I was thinking of that tonight for some reason, and then we got to this
Oh,
little
right.
bit of conversation. I'm just like, I gotta ask this. It's there.
Yeah, well, it
Um,
falls in line with the whole New Day thing and how that's going on Raw, anyways. So
yeah. Uh, I guess in a way we can possibly fly through Raw here tonight. Um, I was kind of surprised to see Io Sky win the women's battle royal. I
yeah,
I
no,
didn't know what the hell that match was when they first said, "Oh, we're doing this," and all these tag teams came out. I was very confused until they were going over the top rope, hitting their feet, and getting
yeah.
removed from the match. I'm like, "Oh, so it's a Royal Rumble. You're calling it a Battle Royal? Oh,
Battle.
okay,
The difference
okay.
between Battle Royal and Royal Rumble is the Battle Royal. Everyone starts in the ring. The Royal Rumble, people come down.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay, that makes
yep,
sense. I think WCW was more often doing battle royals back in the
yes,
day.
they often had everyone start in the ring.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, yeah, I was kind of surprised to see her, but it was. I guess it was
She's
gonna be weird no matter what because it was just a bunch of tag teams in there.
Yes, and Damage Control and Io Sky have been fantastic for a long time now.
Yeah,
And she's been a past NXT champion. She's been a past, I forget which one she had, either the Raw or the SmackDown Women's Championship at the time. She's had all the belts. She's fantastic. It makes a lot of sense for her to go after it again. Again, it goes back against what I said before, which was it felt like they were trying to set up actual tag team women's wrestling. And to have her win it, it makes a lot of sense and she deserves it. But at the same time, it does seem to take away one of the strongest tag teams in the women's division if she goes after that belt and they limit her tag team use because of it.
yeah.
So
Maybe they won't limit it too
maybe.
much. I don't know.
I don't think
Guess
they're
we'll
going to
have
take
to
the
see where
belt.
they
I
go
don't
with
see
that.
Io taking the belt off of Liv. So maybe this is a 2-3 week thing and then she goes back to the tag team division essentially with Kyrie.
Yeah, yeah,
But
maybe.
because she's fantastic. She deserves a shot, but I don't see them taking the belt off of Liv right now. So
Yeah, I guess in a way they got to figure out what they're gonna do with Liv because I guess maybe they just need this to kind of. She sort of needs that dance partner because it was Rhea, and now with her with the orbital
again,
gone.
I think you can stretch this out to the Rumble and then Rio
Well,
comes
that's
back.
what. Yeah, that's what I was basically saying. So it looks like they're gonna stretch this sort of stuff out where they're just
Gonna
picking
throw
off
somebody,
competitors
yeah,
and keep the belt on her.
and they'll be quick. They'll be quick feuds, a 1 month feud going into each PLE
Yeah,
essentially. So
and they'll just utilize her stable of getting
yeah,
rid of these opponents.
yep, they did that
Uh,
with CM Punk for over a year. So yeah,
yeah.
the Shield
Uh,
saved him for over a year.
so we got a little bit of a video snippet of Miz kidnapped.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that. I think I tagged you on Twitter when I saw him get dragged into the bus.
Oh, I'll have to go watch that. Yeah, I think I missed that.
Yeah, I tried to tag you on a couple things. Like I don't know how often he checks social, but yeah, they
Uh,
I go
I gotta
they
get
they
I gotta get better at.
they found the Miz. Oh, I'm sorry, the Miz found Uncle Howdy, but it wasn't him. It was the dread haired guy. It was Dexter Loomis's character. But yeah, he goes get in his bus, and there's Dexter, and he grabs him and yanks him in the background as Kofi and Xavier are arguing. And then
Huh.
I don't know if you saw any of the stuff with again on social with Scarlett and Karrion Cross.
No.
So they're the head of whatever that team is called. The authors of Pain are in, and the team that was involved with. I should know their name by now, but I don't. With Karrion Cross, Scarlett, the authors of Pain, that whole thing. The one that was trying to like recruit Kofi and the Miz. Anyways, Scarlett's walking up to Karrion, and Karrion's at his desk, and he's like, I've heard, and she's like, we should probably go look for him. And Karrion Cross says, yeah, but he's definitely dead. It's been like at least an hour. He's definitely dead. He's like, but we should go look for him, right? Like he's like, do we have to? Because he's definitely dead. That's all he kept saying. And she's like, I think we have to. And so then that video cuts, and then like I think a day or two ago I saw one where Karrion Cross goes, I found him. And they're like at a Walmart, and he's pulling the Miz action figure off the Walmart peg. Told you I'd find the guy. He's right here. He's fine. So they're pretty clever with it. That's a big scary dude that likes to train MMA, having a sense of humor, which is pretty good. I'll take that any day of the week. So, then we have the video that the Miz is who they were going for. They wanted the Miz. I don't know what the game plan is, what they plan on doing to the Miz, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah, it's they've definitely been taking their time, kind of like working on that storyline.
Well, the White Six is just going after anybody who abandons family. So if you turn on your family, they come after you. They did with Chad Gable. Then they Karrion Cross's group got him to kind of turn on R-Truth. And
Sami Zayn, you better mend some bridges there, and
well, the next one would be
go back with your family.
Xavier Wood would be the next one, I think, because he's kind of slowly turning against Kofi and his family. So
yeah, well, that was the next match on this thing, New Day and the War Raiders. Yeah, I just realized this tonight. Like
I said, their previous name was War Machine.
Yeah,
that's their name of their finisher now.
Oh.
That springboard clothesline thing, I realized that was the name of their finisher. So,
yeah. Oh.
Yeah, they're just making them look dominant, which is great, and also splitting up Kofi and Xavier more. So it's fine.
Yeah, because I don't know what to make of the New Day right now, because the fans were getting with them. Like when they were going to pump up the crowd, you just, the fans were with them, but I don't know, I'm just sitting there going like, I think this. I think this cars ran out of gas, so to speak. It's just
well, it's run out of gas because they wanted to run out of gas. Like that's another one that took a character that not a character, but a gimmick as a stable that really should not have ever been over, and they bought into it so hard that they turned it into this thing that ran for over 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, they came out with a breakfast cereal for.
Yeah, and they were they were bringing in anime stuff. They came out of a Budio box, cereal box, one WrestleMania. They had so much fun. They were chucking pancakes at the crowd.
Yeah, I remember that one.
They were just having a good time, and they were the petition to save the Spanish announce table. That poor table.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they committed to the bit so hard that it was so over, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Was that a
Back to the Future reference where they're trying to save the clock tower?
Pretty much
save the Spanish announce table.
Pretty much, they were just. I think that was the return of the Dudleys for a short time, and so they were constantly getting tables out and stuff, and they were like, no more tables. Save the tables. The tables did nothing to you. Stop.
Don't get the table.
Yeah. So, and then the Spanish one always takes the brunt of it in the Attitude Era. So, Xavier and them, chose that one. So it was just good stuff. But you can see it. Like Karrion Cross is trying to turn Kofi and has been for weeks. Xavier Wood. And Xavier Wood's gear is now black and gray and not colorful anymore. Like all the color's been drained out of his gear. So they don't even match anymore when they're out there. He doesn't want to save any of the good guys whenever they're getting jumped. He's always trying to hold Kofi back. So you can tell that they want the gas to run out. And they want something to happen. It's taking
Yeah.
so long now, though, that I'm wondering if at some point Xavier breaks and just goes back to being a good guy. Because it feels like they're just dragging this out so long that he's going to have this revelation going, man, I have been a dick lately. Let me go save the day, type of deal.
Or are they gonna start a feud between the two of them?
That's where it feels like it should go to begin with. But they've been dragging this out so long that I'm not sure anymore. Like that's probably still what they're going to do. But we've been doing this now for weeks. Something's got to break. Either he's got to hit Kofi already, or he's got to break down and save the day and go back to being colorful and fun. We're at that point where the next step needs to happen.
Or just turn to Kofi and go, "Hey, didn't you used to be Jamaican?"
Yeah. That'd be great. That would be great. That's actually something Tommaso Ciampa should do. Ciampa should do that. Because they keep calling him Triple H. So
yeah.
In the middle of a tag match, he could be, weren't you Jamaican? What happened to your accent? Oh, boy.
I keep seeing that thing with R-Truth go like, Triple H, where I don't see him. That's Tommaso Ciampa. You can't fool me.
Yep.
Love that.
National treasure, that man. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he is. I don't think I really wrote down most of the rest of the matches with tonight. I mean, we had Dragon Lee versus Chad Gable. That almost seemed like it's just Chad kind of like getting into like a feud with the LWO, trying to pull off Ray's mask.
It feels like it's going to get to a match against Rey Mysterio at some PLE. It feels like it's going to be that.
Okay, I was kind of thinking that too, but then I kind of went back going like, yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, if they're trying to continue to make him a bigger heel, then maybe it'll be a whatever versus mask match at some point, because they just keep bearing home that idea that he's going to take the mask off of him. So maybe it becomes a mask versus whatever thing.
Mask versus hair. You shave him bald.
Maybe,
like Kurt Angle.
maybe he can go full angle. He can go full Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
But I like it. Got Zelina Vega out there twice. She was in the Battle Royal end in that match, and it got Ivy Nile out there twice and got them more screen time, which is good.
Yeah. And then there was Damian Priest's match.
That was the fatal 4-way for the number 1 contendership.
Yeah, that was all pretty interesting.
Action-packed match. They did a great job. The main 3 competitors, Priest and Seth and who am I blanking on? Who's the other one I'm blanking on? Not Dominic. Sheamus. Sheamus was the other one. They kept the energy up high. A lot of the moves were great. Dominic did his thing where he just, you're the heel. You kind of hide for a while, come out here and do your move here and there, try to steal a win.
They had that one spot where Sheamus caught him and was just pounding on his chest while Damian Priest is just like, let's let it happen. It just doesn't bother me. He's getting the shit
as he
kicked out of
should.
him.
As he should.
And then Seth's like, time for a roll-up.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, Seth is the undersized guy in that match, so it makes the most sense when they could do that.
Yeah.
And then the monster comes back out again to push that storyline some more.
Yeah. I liked as they were going to the commercial break, Seth's on the outside. I think he just did a dive. He's just slamming on like the guardrail right there with all the kids just to do like a little pose for like commercial break. And all the kids are like slapping him on the back of the best time, like, yeah, you did touch him.
Yep. Yep.
That was good. They had a lot of little kids on the opposite side of like the hard camera, just like all placed there.
I mean,
like as if they got like all the kids in the arena and went like, we're gonna move them all seats and stick them right here.
Typically, those are your comp tickets.
Yeah,
those are your friends and family tickets. Those are your a lot of times radio station giveaways, but usually those first couple of rows are giveaways that wrestlers have that they can give to family members or friends.
Well, this all looked like Saudi Arabia kids, so
You
it
know what?
might
I
have been.
keep forgetting. I just watched it. I just keep forgetting that they taped it there. They taped it there yesterday, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
That might have been their
Well,
version of like a Make-A-Wish section or like some type of school reward or something like that.
yeah, that and maybe some of the kids of the
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it
folks
could
that
just be
work
some
to
nepotism. Could
yeah,
have.
yeah, it might have been the people that like kind of like worked with WWE to put this on here and
Right,
like, oh, I'm gonna
100%.
stick my kid on the hard camera and let them be hauled by all these wrestlers.
Right, didn't even think about that. It could have been. Oh,
That's another thing I was noticing on the corners of the entry ramp when you get to the ring. I noticed a bit more kids with Crown Jewel and Raw right on that corner.
That's
So it almost seemed like they
that
were
corner. Even if you watch normal Raw, that's usually again also, um,
like a lot of kids there.
yeah,
It looked like more than usual.
that's usually the Make a Wish or a local charity type event for the kids there. Because you also notice that a lot of times Cody will even sign autographs in the middle of his entrances on belts and stuff for kids in the corners like that.
Yeah.
Ray might find someone wearing a Ray mask and give a mask to a kid right there.
I
That's
think with
usually
Crown Jewel, Cody coming down the ramp like that, there's a kid wearing like his entrance coat or one of them, and it looked like he was gonna like pick him up out of the crowd and sort of like he got a no, don't do that, and then just moved on because I've seen that he's done that
yep,
before.
yep. So, or they can be expensive seats that just come as part of a package deal. So, like if you wanted to spend $500 for the AEW show that was just recently here in Cleveland, that would have got you put down at one of those seats. Usually, front row though is kids that are, or you know, it's for a charity cause. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that went as we expected. I guess they went with Damien to move that along. I'm surprised they didn't try to do like sneak a little Dominic match in real fast for no reason, just to kind of like build up the power couple scenario. But they went right past that and went right back to Damien.
Yeah, kind of seems like he's getting the push.
Yeah, I mean, we all expected him to do it and get it back and have that match again. I just would have figured maybe, like I said, sneak in a Dominic match in there. Sheamus is going to go probably for a mid-card title soon. I can't imagine him not. And obviously, the Monster versus Seth is still happening, as we know. So
yeah.
So no real surprise there.
Is there anything else you want to cover? We've been going at this for 2 hours now.
Yeah, we need to
wrap it.
Yeah, we need to wrap it. But side note, it's 12:30. At the very end of this, if you stuck with it, and you're obviously a massive wrestling fan, so throw out there that Kenny Omega has announced his return.
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah, at New Japan Pro Wrestling. So he's gonna come back. Yeah. Well, because we're getting close to Wrestle Kingdom. That's in January.
Yeah.
That's the first 2-day event that really existed, and so he's gonna go back there. He did his whole promo, except for his catchphrases and stuff, in Japanese. So he's setting up his return to wrestling in the Tokyo Dome, probably during Wrestle Kingdom, and then also just recent past WWE guy, current AEW guy, Ricochet is going to go after Zack Sabre Jr. For the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. So he made his announcement in Japan too. So just some, as we get close to Wrestle Kingdom, I'm going to probably bring up more New Japan stuff only because that's their WrestleMania, so that's their season.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Kenny Omega returning is huge. So
yeah. Yeah, definitely.
After being out with diverticulitis for a year now.
Oh, that's what he was out with. Jeez.
Yeah, he almost died.
Him too, huh?
Yeah, he got it pretty bad. He kind of fight through it. He had a hell of a match with MJF, if I'm not mistaken, and that's when he lost the belt was to MJF before MJF's run as champion there for a while. And it came out that like if he would have waited much longer, he could have been in a real bad state of being. So, but
Yeah.
it sounds like he must be getting close if he's, in New Japan and hoping to wrestle, I think, at Wrestle Kingdom. So that could be huge, both for him, wrestling in general, and then we're in November. Wrestle Kingdom is in January. It sounds like we'll run the storyline with Mox and them taking over from now through into January, and then my assumption is that Kenny Omega will return to be the savior of AEW at that point, because someone's got to take AEW back from Jon Moxley at that point.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's about it. Just thought that was big enough that I should throw out there.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
We've been going for 2 hours. It's 12:30. I like it's easier for us to schedule this one show format, but the problem is when we cover the entire week of wrestling,
Yeah,
it is hard to do it in under 2 hours.
Yeah, it is. Especially when there's a
crown jewel.
Yeah, something like that thrown in there.
Yeah,
you get extra show, and it's like, oh no,
yeah,
extra stuff, and it's going to be big.
Yeah, so that's the rough part, but I think it went well. We're gonna finish this up, and I'm gonna end this, and then I'm gonna try to immediately download it and run it up to Twitter. Not Twitter. YouTube immediately.
YouTube.
Yeah,
I kind of knew what you meant.
Yeah, it's
said the wrong thing.
It's been a long day so far, but yeah. So we have to figure that out. Maybe we try to do a second show somewhere in there just to split it up, or maybe we pick a different time, or maybe we do something different so I can help keep the energy up a little bit higher than I think I started well, but I think I trailed somewhere an hour or two, energy-wise. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really notice anything.
But, yeah.
We held a pretty good conversation until it got to points where it's like, okay,
that's about all there is to say about that.
Time to move on to the next thing.
Yep.
Yeah, just got to keep the pace going.
Yeah, because I was just checking the clock once in a while going, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so we talked so much for, like, I see SmackDown, I got the crown jewel, I'm like, oh, that's a big list of notes I have. We're gonna condense that.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that you want to do the notes and you want to take the lead on, like, directing our way through it. I prefer to just, like, be the color commentary.
I'm doing that because, like, the ones we did before me taking out the notes, I'm, like, forgetting the entirety of matches and stuff that happened. I'm forgetting names because I'm kind of newly getting back into this.
That's fair.
The landscape's changed so much that it's just,
that's
like,
fair.
I'm going to be like an anvil on you. It's just
You're
holding
good.
you back.
You're good. It's better that you do that. I would rather not, like, talk as much, because you bring up a story or you bring up a match, and then I jump in with an anecdote from wherever, whether it's from history or from the indie scene or from this or that. So with you taking over and directing the show with the notes, essentially, it lets me sit back, let you start the trip, and then I can jump in and go from there, essentially, with whatever story, because otherwise I would never shut the hell up on this podcast.
Well,
so
I don't exactly want you to shut up. When you get on tangents, it's gold. It leads somewhere. So I do like it. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's good for me to have the notes because we can hit them. We can gloss over them pretty quickly. If it's like, it wasn't really much there. They're still working on the storyline, and we can just get through stuff.
The Lexus King match was a great example of, to me, that I just saw that went, this is character development. That's all this is. Yeah. This is just a character development match, and it makes a lot of sense, but it's just pushing that character for what we don't know yet, but that's what that is. And the rest of the match was dressing on that, essentially. So,
yeah.
But, yeah, we should wrap this. This is 2 hours and 10 minutes. I already put together a quick little thumbnail real fast for it, so once it gets downloaded and immediately re-uploaded, but to YouTube, it should be up there pretty quick. So
yeah, this like Wrestle Babble name is becoming very fitting.
I didn't know what else to call it, and that's all we're doing. So I went very literal. Yeah. I went as literal as I could. I don't think it's being used by anything. If it is, we'll have to change anyways. But I figured it's kind of a working title as it is.
It's a
So,
placeholder for now.
yep.
No one's coming after us with no viewers.
Right. Exactly. I think we get like 11 views on the VOD every week roughly. So
Yeah. Taz isn't going to be suing us yet.
oh my god. I would definitely change the name to something that he'd be irritated about once I make like WWE money. If I signed like a Kelsey deal, like the Kelsey brothers deal with like Spotify for wrestling, all 100% just to be annoying.
The Don't Be Taz Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah.
Sponsored by WWE.
Change his acronym around a little bit just to be annoying. Just to do it.
Just make it backwards, the WTF podcast. Oh wait, no.
That's probably used, so we can't do that either. The TFW podcast. The TFW, TWF. Start making up acronyms.
The FFTTWW podcast.
I mean,
come after us now.
Yeah,
short
we just
fuck.
double every acronym.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, we should end this babble.
Yeah, we are literally babbling at this point. All right. So we'll do this again probably next week at the same time, roughly a little bit after 10. And, bring some energy drinks if you're going to ever watch this live because it goes late. It goes late. So, but it's been fun. Once again, I'm Matt Zimmer. You can find me at _Matt Zimmer. That is Matt also, but you can find him at Forsaken. He streams more than I do. I should stream more often, but I don't. And this has been fun. So we will talk to you guys again next week about the same time.
Yeah. See you next week.
Yep. Later.